So, hello everyone. So, I'll be starting a new series where I'll be explaining about some of the important topics of computer organization. So, this is the main subject of in engineering as well as in any phase of life. Where if you want to learn more about computer and its organization, so how the memory processor everything works, so this is the most important topic. And in that topic, the important topic is functional units of the computer. So what is actually the functional units of the computer is functional units is basically how the how all the things are organized so that the computer will perform as you require. So if you give computer to add two numbers, it will give you the output by adding the two numbers, right? So how this internally works, this works internally using various components. So there are basically five main components, not only adding number but also there are many things, right? You give a devices anything, example, you give a computer something to scan or something to print, so it will give you the output by scanning and printing. So everything happens by using these units, so these are functional units. So first is input and memory, arithmetic and logic, output and control units. You can see the picture, right? So it's not so clear, but I could see that it's this image is little bit blur, but it's okay. So it's basically there is input and there is output. So these are IO operations. IO will basically input and output operations. So then there is a interconnection network. So over for the input and output there should be some connection, right, between the arithmetic and logic. I will explain you further what is that. And controller, so it will control everything. It will combine input output memory together, so it will combine everything using the controller and memory. So if you want to consider, you have done some word document and you need to save the particular file. If it's not saved, then how could you see next day? So everything should be stored in memory. If it is a in primary memory or secondary memory, I'll explain you further what is actually primary and secondary memory. So these input output arithmetic logical controller and memory, so these are the five things you actually need to know. So what is actually input unit? So input unit is the computers accept coded information through input units. So consider, you give numbers to add, so using keyboard you will give the numbers, right? Or if you want, if you're talking with your friend through Zoom or any team app, you will give your audio message through microphone, right? So everything what you give the computers is called input devices. Okay, the most common example is keyboard. Whenever the key is pressed, the corresponding digit will go. So such that, so you can read about this. So other things are not, it can be touchpad what you use, mouse, joystick, everything are input devices. So and output devices, what is output devices? The output unit is the outer counterpart of the input unit. So consider you give the numbers to add the numbers. So in display the sum will display, right? In the display the exact sum will be displayed. So what it is called as so the screen what you see is called output devices. Or the movie you watch, so consider you are watching one movie, so the screen, right, monitor, that is an output devices. Or you are listening to a music, the speaker is an output devices, right? So see, you can see the picture, right? So printer is an output because you, it will scan and give you the output. And headphones can listen to the music, right? So the monitor, and you can see the input devices over here. And next comes, I explained input and output devices, so it's clear, right? So now we'll go into memory unit. So see, anything need to be stored in the computer because see, human beings cannot remember for a long amount of time, but if we give a data to a computer, if you tell them to please remember me, or you're saving that particular file, it will be stored permanently unless you delete it or not. So like that. So what is memory? The function of the memory is to store the programs and data. It can be a data, it can be a program, or you made a something website or something like it will be saved unless you delete it. And there are two kinds of memory: storage memory, primary and secondary. So what is primary memory? It is the memory directly accessible by the CPU. Okay, so memory directly accessible CPU, it is fast but typically limited in capacity and volatile. Consider you you execute a particular program. Okay, you execute a particular program, and so there is a power of you did not save it. So it's actually is losses data when the power is off. So there are two kinds of examples for this. Okay, RAM and ROM, random access memory and read only memory. What is random access memory? Temporary storage used during program execution is called random access memory. So it will so consider you search some website in the Google. Okay, you search something in a Google and you typed something, and after you close that tab, and that particular code is not there. So it's just it is not appearing because it's a primary memory. Consider there is an online website, okay, where you can type the code. So C++, Python, any code you can type. But when you close the tab, that particular data is not there. So it's called a primary memory. And ROM is read-only memory, stores firmware and system startup instructions. Consider there is a program um, to run a particular machine. So just for that moment, it will be there. But if you close, if the power is shut down, and if you open the next day again, you have to update the software or update the firmware and all. So these kind of things are called primary memory. Okay, so in that we'll be having RAM and ROM. So what is cache memory? So cache memory is basically uh, as an adjustment to the main memory, a smaller faster RAM unit called a cache. So I'll give you an example. Cache memory is basically, consider you are ordering something in online store. Consider Amazon or Flipkart. You're ordering something, and you put the it to the cart. Again, when you search it, just if you type Amazon in the Google, and when you type other product, that one more product which are you put to cart or something you have searched repeatedly, it will come below of that. So cache memory is basically holds the program that currently being executed, because the cache memory will keep the data which you repeatedly searched in the Google or something like that. So it will keep a memory, so that it will remind you, or not only in shopping app but also in various type of, if you search for a particular information, that will appear below. So it will give you like a reminder kind of, if I want to say like that. So um, so the cache is tightly coupled with the processor and is usually contained in the same integrated circuit and all. So you can read it further what is that. Then secondary memory, consider you have consider your friend gave you a wants to give you a movie. So uh, he wants to give you through a pen drive. So everything, so the data should be permanent, right? Until he gives you, it should store permanently, right? You should not get deleted. So everything, so hard disk, or you have big softwares or games or something like that, so these need to be stored properly. Or in pen drive you have important documents, or you have important documents related to your work, studies and all. So it needs to be stored without being deleted. So in that case you can store in a hard disk drive, solid state drive, compact disk, pen drive and all. So okay, so you can see the example RAM, ROM, and it is like this. Usually it will be inside the CPU and all. not able to see it, but and also see secondary memory, SSD card, pen drive, and all. So I told you anything needs to be logically performed. So it is called computer, right? It can perform everything. So arithmetic and logical unit is there. So most of the computers are executed in ALU operations. So give the it can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, divisions, and all. And control unit. So see, there is a input devices, there is a memory, there is a processor. Everything needs to be combined and executed properly. So these people are individuals. If they want to communicate with themselves, there should be something to control them, right? So to control them, we have the control unit. Okay, it's a nervous system of the it's like a brain. Control unit, CPU is the brain, but control it, it should have the control unit is it will try to combine input, output, AL operations, memory. So everything is controlled by this, and data flow happens through this between the processor and memory will happen using the control unit. So you got to know how this actually works. So basically just it's a small thing. If you can refer these notes because I have properly explained it, what is what, and for your exams or anything related to your knowledge, if you want to know more about this, I'll put post more videos about this. So this is my first video. I tried to make it better in upcoming videos, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.